Hi everyone, I'm Clonemep and I am running alongside with Dadudeds to be your governor. I'm going to just briefly go over some of our main ideas that we have as a leadership, and if you have any questions, feel free to DM me on Discord at Clonemep, or you can join our Discord server and ask there. Um, I'm really accessible. I really want to get to know everyone. And if you have any questions or policy suggestions, feel free to reach out. So, overall, our main objective as a governorship is working to help you, the state of Firestone citizens. So, our main job really is not going to be micromanaging departments, but rather fostering relationships between departments and then also working with departments to then have a greater relationship with the public. So what this includes is going to be events, and then it's also going to be include with interdepartment policy changes and actually establishing like letters of agreement on like, hey, this is when you should do this is when you should do that kind of stuff. So it's not really going to be micromanaging what departments do, but rather working with departments to say, hey, there's an issue between Department 1 and Department 2. What can we do to help solve this issue? What can we do in writing to help with this? Or what can we do to help improve the relationships between the department so that way it can help make a better state? So that's our main objective as a governorship. Something that's really unique about our campaign is that we actually have specific policy ideas that we want to meet with departments about, and we want to see if they'd be interested in implementing them. Big disclaimer though, these are all ideas. None of them are set in stone. None of them are like 100% perfect, okay? So, with some of these ideas, we might drop them, we might edit them, we might come up with new solutions. So, I just want to put that as a big disclaimer, but we are coming up with ideas to say, hey, what can we do right now to help the state of Firestone? And a lot of these ideas have come not just from me and the dudes, but also from you, the citizens that we've been meeting with. So, for example, one thing that we want to do is make a jobs database. A lot of departments are actually moving to 24/7 applications, which is awesome. What this would do is just make it centralized to know which applications are open or when are application deadlines if you want to be part of a new class. Or it'd be like, hey, you can apply on the Firestone Hub, or you can apply within a Google form, and here's the link to it. So it's really centralizing all of these important ways of how you can join the department or join a business into one central location rather than having to scroll through all these different announcements within hashtag applications or hashtag business announcements in the main Discord. So that's the main idea behind this, and we're going to be working with the Department of Commerce to really get this done, and then working with departments outside of the Department of Commerce to help feed into this database. Another one that I want to talk about is working with our intelligence agencies to help handle classified information. So we've been having some leaks recently, and I just want to work with our intelligence agencies to say, hey, what are some ways that you have found that can help find who leaks information? What have you done to help safeguard against this? And then just working with everyone so that way if one department has like a really solid idea of like this is how you can help keep classified documents classified, just sharing that with other intelligence agencies so that way they can follow suit and we don't have as many leaks. Another one too is just working with the Department of Public Safety and just doing a full review of their safety directives. So I've heard a lot of complaints and then also a lot of ways on how to improve these public safety directives. In fact, we met with the Department of Public Safety and even they had some complaints about their own public safety directives. So it's really funny how like all these people have problems with one thing, but no one's doing anything about it. And what really is the issue is because the governor either locks it and says, nope, can't do that, or there's just no time given to it. So we're going to be working with the Department of Public Safety to really see what kind of policy changes we can make and just doing it in a way that helps departments, helps employees, and helps citizens. One example is right now, due to an executive order that was signed, the Department of Public Safety has a public safety directive that says that only the governor can approve cases outside of the Department of Public Safety. So say you have a case that goes to Department of Public Safety and they're like, hey, we want to transfer this to a department. The governor individually has to sign off on that and say, Department of Public Safety, you're good to go do that. That's super micromanaging, and the Department of Public Safety is already a third party independent organization. They don't need the governor to hold their hand every time. So that's one thing that we're going to rip away from that. So that way the Department of Public Safety has their own discretion to transfer cases out to departments. And then just working with them as well on other changes in the future. Another idea is the first time offender employee edition. So what we really want to do is we want to work with the Department of Public Safety and Department of Justice to come up with a program on what can we do if this is someone's first time committing like a violation, um, and they're an employee of the state. What can we do to help them so that way it isn't like a huge issue? Because we all make mistakes, and making one mistake shouldn't make it where you're now getting criminally charged or you're now getting your post certification removed. That shouldn't happen. If you keep on doing it, you gosh darn, it's going to happen. But that shouldn't be the first, like, you know, you committed one little act and now everything's ruined. This isn't real life. We all make mistakes. Department of Justice already does this with a non-prosecution agreement, which what that is just saying, hey, you messed up. We're not going to charge you criminally, but you need to do X, Y, and Z. And usually X, Y, and Z is you need to do a training, you need to do a community service, and you can't commit any other criminal issues or you can't commit any other disciplinary issues between now and like 6 months or something. So we want to work with the Department of Public Safety and Department of Justice to really just get this fine-tuned and put into policy. That way, some people get it. That way, it's not like some people get it, some people don't. It's just a standard system, and that way it helps our employees, and it makes it where if you do make a minor mistake, your whole career isn't ruined. Because we all make mistakes. We all should be given a way to have just a little bit of forgiveness. Another thing too is a pardon board. So what this really is about is just making sure that I handle pardons in a time efficient manner. So this isn't going to be like if they don't approve it, you don't get a pardon. No, that's not what this is going to be. It's more of them just doing the research for me and just being like, hey, this person, this really was their first time. We recommend that you give them pardon. Or, nope, nope, nope. This person has shot like someone just yesterday. So they're a repeat offender. They're not going to learn from this pardon. So it's really just taking these pardons issues and just getting them up and going. Because I'll be honest, right now with pardons, they're really a popularity contest. If you don't know the governor, then your odds of getting a pardon are very slim. So what this does is it makes it where even if I don't know you, you have a fair chance of getting a pardon. Another idea we have is the tags annexation. So what this really is doing is it directs FFA and Post to find alternatives to delivering theory-based material, either through like videos or just reading material, which most of them you can do it with reading material, and that's super easy. Uh, the reason for this is no one should be going into Roblox and going through a M session, which if you don't know what the M session is, that's when you go into game and the instructor does colon M and then it gives like a big wall of text on your screen. And then you have only a limited amount of time to copy down that information or screenshot it. That's not good anymore. It wastes a lot of people's time. Uh, Really, you should just be given that information before and say, hey, read this information, take this quiz. Once you do that, let's move you on to the practical part. I talked with FFA. They already do this. I believe Post already does this. There's only a few departments that I know still are like on this M session, but honestly, this is a really easy change to make, and it's going to make everyone's life easier. You just take what you would put in the M, which is the like colon M, which is the block of text. Instead of doing that, just give people that information and say, hey, read this and take this quiz. If you have any questions, let us know between taking the quiz. But, you know, you don't need to be baby feeding this information to people, especially when it tags all the time. Like with the Roblox filter, it's going to tag. So yeah, those are just a few ideas. Again, look through our presentation. That's our like a campaign speech, quote unquote. Look through the Google Slides and see everything that we are planning on at least talking with our cabinet about. Again, with all of those ideas, none of them are set in stone. They can change, they can be removed. They, you know, nothing's set in stone with those ideas. So just remember, none of those ideas are set in stone. So don't panic if you like, that's the worst freaking idea I've ever heard. Okay, don't go that route. Please just give us the feedback and be like, hey, this is why I don't think this is a good idea. Or be like, hey, that's a really good idea. Here's how you can also improve it. That's also great too. Or if you actually do like an idea, let us know too. So that way we can talk about that with these departments. I've worked with FFA already. I've worked with the Department of Health. I've worked with DOT already, and we've just met and talked about some of these policy changes. And a lot of them were really receptive about all of these changes and just like what can we do to help with this. So thank you again for those departments that have met with us already. Last but not least, I just want to give you a little overview on like kind of like a timeline of like how we plan to get this stuff done. So like day zero, for example, is election day. Just getting to get all the documentations. Day one is meeting with my administration and then sending out that first survey to be like, hey, what can we do as a state to help improve these departments? Do you have any ideas? What can I, you know, do kind of stuff? And then as the week goes on, I'll be meeting with the cabinet members. Um, those ideas that I've already previously talked about, um, this is also when we're going to be talking with cabinet members to be like, hey, what can we do to help make these ideas a reality? Are these ideas something that we should do? That kind of stuff. Um, and yeah, and then towards the end, we just have a 60-day review, which is just like, a last survey just to say, like, hey, do you like these new implementations we've done? Is there anything we should roll back? That kind of stuff. And then something I just missed over is also like the governor's ball event. So 30 days out, what we plan to do as well is have everyone come down to the manor and just show off what they have. And it would be a great time for recruitment as well. And something unique that we want to add is a symposium. So what this is going to be is just department heads slash department reps will just for a brief minute talk about like, hey, this is some of the stuff we've been doing as a department over the past month. Um, just saying a few words, and then they'll take a few comments for like a minute, and then we'll just do that back and back while the governor's ball event is going on at the same time. Um, so yeah, and then also with that, if people don't want to speak, I can speak for them. That's not an issue. So don't make that be a thing. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. If you stayed to the very end, thank you so much. That means a lot. Sorry you had to deal with my annoying voice, because I couldn't do this. Anywho, thank you again for listening to us. Thank you again for just being invested in our campaign. We really do want to make Firestone awesome, and we also want to bring these policy changes to these much needed departments and work with these departments to see what we can do to improve Firestone. So, again, join our Discord, which is linked below or above wherever you see this, either in the description or on the actual Firestone forums. It should be linked above. And yeah, come chat with us, see what we can do to help you. Thank you again, and God bless.